What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am Fable Joey, and I am back with another Mission Impossible review, here to review the third installment, Mission Impossible 3. Now, I'm very, very excited to review this movie. I said that in my last movie review because I love Mission Impossible 3. I know a lot of people who don't. Hopefully, I will be able to at least show my reasons for loving this movie, and hopefully some people will give it another chance before they go see Fallout, but going into this review, it will be very, very positive, so let's get started. Alright guys, so Mission Impossible 3. This is one of my favorite installments in the series. This is one of my favorite action movies of all time, so let's get started and talk about this. The opening scene, the first thing that you see in this movie, is actually one of my favorite opening scenes in any movie ever. It is so intense. The acting is just phenomenal. I love, love, love the opening scene. It is so much fun, and it gets you really, really good set for a mission film, and it's fantastic. I really couldn't ask for anything more. It's a perfect lead into the intro, and right after that, there's just such a cheery setting. It just goes into, like, the happiest of things right after that way intense first scene. So this is J.J. Abrams' very first feature film. He went on to direct Star Wars: The Force Awakens and Star Trek Into Darkness, I think. And so he has done awesome work, and this is actually my favorite thing that I've seen that he's directed. So let's get with those flaws first, because that's what we have been doing with the mission and reviews. So let's talk about some of the flaws of the movie. There isn't a lot this time around, so we can just focus on the good stuff for later, but let's get into the flaws. There aren't very many. Sometimes I found myself wishing in action sequences that the camera would just stay still. Not to say that every single action scene is filmed with shaky cam, but there are a few moments here and there where I was like, couldn't they have just kept the camera still and it would have been a lot better? But I understand the use of it because it was kind of hard to capture some of the things, but if the camera's kind of moving around, it's a little bit easier to, like, I don't know, it's a little bit easier to pull out. But I don't know. It was really well done. And then sometimes that shaky cam, I'd be like, why are they doing that? But it was very, very few uses of shaky cam. There was only a couple times where I was like, yeah, that's shaky cam right there. So most of the movie was pretty good, and it didn't have most shaky cam. So yeah, that's one of them. And also, the ending kind of leaves it very unresolved. Spoiler alert for, I think, an 11-year-old movie, but the whole plot point with the rabbit's foot doesn't really mean anything in the end necessarily, so like they do. Most of it isn't about the rabbit's foot, that's kind of just a side thing, but the rabbit's foot is important for the last part of the film, and it kind of comes into play, but we don't even know what the rabbit's foot is, which is like kind of stupid, but I can forgive it because a lot of the plot in this one is like focused on something else. It's Ethan trying to save his wife, or Ethan with his wife, and I love that plot point. Okay, so those are like the two biggest complaints. Like, the ending is a little unresolved. There's a bit use of shaky cam. Sometimes I wish it could stop moving around. And that is it. As of complaints, I am very, very excited to get into everything that I love about this film. This film has my favorite acting in any of the Mission films, and it also has my favorite acting scene in the whole series as a franchise. It is the scene where he hangs the best villain in the series. Most people who don't like MI3 actually agree with me on that Philip Seymour Hoffman as the villain, he is the best villain in the franchise. He is absolutely fantastic. But when Ethan hangs him out of the plane to get answers, that scene is just so entertaining to watch. And the villain is very, very good, because most villains, I don't know, he just feels like he actually mattered. The first two villains in the first two movies were not that good, and to have such a standout villain as Philip Seymour Hoffman, it is fantastic, and he does such great work here, and his acting is absolutely magnificent. So the first action scene that we get, not the opening scene, but the first scene I really like, because it is kind of shrouded in darkness, so a lot of the gunplay looks really cool, with like flashy visuals. And I really like that scene, especially the helicopter scene that follows after it. Really, really, really like that scene. So, in Mission Impossible 3, there is not a lot of downtime. A lot of people think that's a complaint. For me, I love that, because it keeps me entertained the whole time, and it's like, I don't have to have action to be entertained, but when it's this sleek and good, I love more of it. And this is my introduction of the best character in the franchise, Benji. It's always better when Benji is around. I mean, honestly, he is fantastic in Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation. I'm so glad that he's back for Fallout. Benji is just my favorite parts of, like, any of these movies. And there's no weird zooms or shots that I can, like, look at and be like, that's weird. Like, the first one's weird camera placement where they just kind of like angle it right below the jaw and zoom in. That's not in this movie, which is awesome. The villain is amazing. I love the story. The parachute scene is absolutely fantastic with the two buildings, and he has to swing from one to the other, lands on the roof. It's awesome. I love that scene, the ending scene where he actually gets to fight the villain is awesome. We actually get to see some of Ethan's training, or Ethan training another agent in this film, which is really cool because we don't really get to see that anywhere else. There's such great action scenes in this movie, so I'm not going to talk about all of them, especially if you haven't seen it. Go check it out. I love Mission Impossible 3. Like I said, it's one of my favorite action movies of all time. I love the villain. This is my favorite acting in the franchise. It's got some of my favorite moments in the Mission Impossible franchise. I really don't have a lot of complaints about MI3. It is fantastic. So, let's get into those scores. I gave this movie a 9.5. My cousin gave it an 8.9, which leads our score to an 18.4 out of 20, which puts us at a 92%. Which is the highest thing that we've seen so far with these mission reviews. That is the highest score. I'm pretty sure the last one was something in the high 50s, and then the other one was something in the high 60s. So yeah, we got a small 90 here. I absolutely love this film. If you have not seen Mission Impossible 3, if you skipped over it to go see Fallout, I think you should go check it out. A lot of people don't like the movie, but I really, really do. I think that it's worth watching for sure. I love so much about it, and I really hope that you guys give it a shot if you missed it before. So, there we go. 3 down, 3 to go. Next, we have to review Ghost Protocol, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, and Fallout. So, let's talk about when those reviews are going to be coming out. Ghost Protocol might come out tomorrow, or the next day, my review of that. And then on Thursday, my review of Rogue Nation. And then early Friday morning will be my review of Fallout. So, that'll be the end of my mission series, and then I'll rank them all. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love Mission 3. Go check it out if you missed it. And I will see you next time.